Hello and welcome to I Am Geek, and this is episode 225, and this is I Am Star Wars, because the Book of Boba Fett has come and is gone. We've read from chapter 1 to chapter 7, and
those
are numbers. Book.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about it, so there's going to be lots of spoilers tonight. We're going to go through basically the whole series as fast as we can. There will be some good, there'll be some bad, and there'll be some scooters that we will talk about probably.
Scooters like in the Muppets?
Yeah.
Remember
that big scene with all the scooters?
And we'll teach you how to ride a Bantha tonight. Just like riding a Bantha. That's what it's going to be like. It's going to be fun. We do have some different opinions tonight, so this is going to be one of those episodes where we're all not like, man, that was good. Loved it. It's going to be some good and some bad, so it's going to be fun, but we're going to keep it civil, hopefully. Katrin is sick.
The language will at least be good.
So, yeah, Katrin's sick, so he may just like spew out some craziness.
Head's going to turn around.
It's been funny that we got Ray back on the show with us, Ray Chase.
Hello.
Animator extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all the kids say.
He works with
Jimmy
Chris,
Neutron himself,
who is another animator extraordinaire. Little news, not Star Wars news, little news. Chris made a very important article. Some of his work made a very important article. It was amazing. So he's a people don't know that it was his work, but some of his work made a very fun article, and I don't know if he wants to talk about it, so we won't talk about it.
I don't think he does.
Yeah. But that's all I was going to say about it.
So confused. Go ahead. No.
You know what I'm talking about.
Continue. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Your work is like an NFT now, right?
Oh.
No,
it's not.
I don't even know what that is. It could be. I don't know what that is.
Oh, really? You don't know what an NFT is? Well, we don't have to talk about that.
I mean, I know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
and I am
most people. Yeah.
You want your head to explode, try reading up about NFTs.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Try going to a conference where one of the panels turns out to be, let's talk about what NFTs are. And that was an interesting talk.
Mm.
There's a guy who bought a bunch of them. He was telling us about them. So. Anyways. All right. Are you ready to ride this like a Bantha?
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady. By the end of this, we'll be riding it like a Rancor, probably.
Riding like something.
Making a mess everywhere.
Making a mess.
All right. Here we go. The Book of Boba Fett. Let's get everybody's, before we dive deep into this, let's get everybody's initial reaction to the series.
I'll go last.
All right.
Oh, no.
Who's going to go first?
I'll go first. I never go first.
Yes, you go first.
Let's bookend it.
All right. So, overall, I liked it. Overall, was it my favorite Star Wars thing as a whole? No. There was a couple episodes that was high up there on the Star Wars fandom in me. But it was, overall it was okay. It was good. But, which we'll get into, it was sort of all over the place. Not at the beginning half. And then I felt like it got better the last half. But I liked it overall, thinking back on it. So, was it my favorite? No. Was it The Last Jedi? No. And if you don't know, I didn't like The Last Jedi, so.
Oh.
So, it was good. I enjoyed it. I had fun as a Star Wars fan watching it. Now, if I was a director watching it or a writer watching it, maybe not fun. But as a Star Wars fan, I liked it. I had fun with it. Who wants to go next? That's just my little, in a nutshell.
I'll go next.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm going to go. Make my cough drop first. So I was excited to watch it. and the first few episodes just were okay. Like we came back saying, okay, it was good, but it's still looking back, it's like, wow, they really could have done more with those first few episodes, or done less really of what they did and done more of other things, right? And they could have done better. And then all of a sudden it just changed. And it's funny because they already recorded this, so it wasn't like they saw what the fans were saying about it. They already had it this way. So it was just really weird. It felt like it was somebody else's show that they could have put, being Mandalorian, they could have put part of the show, the history of Boba Fett, because that's what it kind of was, for the most part. They could have made that into an episode of Mandalorian and then done the Mandalorian, right? So, I mean, it was enjoyable. It wasn't one that I was just excited to go see the next one until it got towards the end to see what was going to happen, But yeah, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It wasn't the best thing, but it was good. It was good.
Good. Chris is like, I'm with you, fellas.
Well, I mean, typically this is where I would go. It was good. But I'm just gonna go. It was
Yeah.
Wow. The whole thing.
I mean, there are parts of it that I enjoyed. I liked the Mandalorian 2.5 part of it. The pacing overall just really got to me. And like I think it was episode 3. Was that the train takedown? I fell asleep in that episode. Just because like it kept going back and forth between his past and the present, and nothing necessarily was happening in either the past or present that couldn't have been explained, like with just someone saying something necessarily. Right. I know it's usually like don't tell, show, but like here I'm kind of like, just tell me.
At least it wasn't a musical.
Yeah, it wasn't a musical. I mean, so that's good. Because I've seen Boba Fett break it down at Disney World before. I mean, he's got some moves.
He does. That's true.
But I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was bad necessarily, but it just. And I'm not upset that I watched it. But it's just kind of like it was okay. There was some stuff that was fun about it. But it's like I felt like was it Ian Malcolm on Jurassic Park at some points when it's just like, so there's going to be Boba Fett on your Boba Fett show, right? Hello, right?
That's him. He's standing over there. See, there he is.
Oh, there he is. Oh, there he goes. Okay. So yeah, so I mean, it was. I mean, there was some fun moments. It definitely it picked up after the Mandalorian showed up, basically. But and it's always great seeing Grogu. But yeah, it was just kind of for me. Like it wasn't like, I'm gonna watch that again. Like, but it wasn't like, I hate that I watched that and wasted my time.
Yeah,
so it was kind of like, yeah. So that's me.
I like it.
Here we go.
There were moments where I hated that I was watching it.
Oh wow!
I felt obligated to watch it, so you.
Yeah, it was for me it was a huge disappointment. I was very excited, much like Katrin. I was looking forward to it and very excited about it coming out. Although I was starting to wonder before it came out, I was like, well, how are they going to do this? Because if you're the crime boss, if you're Jabba, if you're Bib Fortuna, they're the big fat guys because they sit in the chair and they don't do anything. They make other people go out and kill everybody for them. I wonder how they'll do that on Book of Boba Fett. Oh, just nobody will do anything. They'll just stand around and talk about stuff and go for the same walk to the same casino over and over and over again. I felt like there was so many missed opportunities and so many bad choices that were made that I was just like, I mean, there was like literally, I can't remember the episodes. So maybe it was the one with the Power Rangers when they first showed up, where I think I went to bed mad, where I was like, "How did you make these choices? What were you thinking?" I found myself disliking the Robert Rodriguez directed episodes the most. The Spy Kids kind of, it's a giant killer robot. I was like, really? I mean, this is Star Wars, giant killer robots. Let's run from the giant killer robot. It's like, what is this? This is, I don't know. The flashbacks, I found myself enjoying the Tusken Raider stuff. I was like, I found that stuff to be more interesting than what was going on in the current timeline. I don't know how you, and a lot of it too was like, I'm like 3 episodes in, I'm like, what is your motivation? Where are we going here? It's like, why are you doing the things that you're doing? And I don't even know if they knew. He's a crime lord with the heart of gold or something. It's like, you know, we have to do this for Tatooine, but then it became all about the city that no one helped to defend.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about our planet. Oh no, they defeated us in this city. I guess we'll leave the planet. We had a big fight in Dallas, so the aliens left the planet. I don't know. It just seemed like they weren't really sure what they were doing. It was all over the place. I wanted to see some connection, some character development between Boba Fett and Fennec, and there just wasn't any. They never took the time to build relationships. If you're going to introduce new characters, like the Power Rangers, even though I hated them, let me get to know them. Who are they? I don't know their names. No. Do they have abilities? Can they do cool stuff? The one dude had an eye. Whether you live, whether you die, I don't care. I don't know who you are. And I feel like the same creative team did this. They did every episode of The Mandalorian. He would meet new people, and within that 30 to 40 minutes, you get to know them. And even when he went on the prison job, right? When he's one episode, one and done. But you got to kind of meet everybody and kind of hang out with everybody. And it was Cad Bane shows up, and he ends up being sort of interesting and cool. Where were you earlier? Because I didn't watch the Clone Wars. Do not assume that your audience is not all reading. Do not assume. You can't assume that. And they made all these assumptions that everybody knows everything about Boba Fett, which there's not really a whole lot to know other than he's a bounty hunter. That everybody watched the Clone Wars, and everybody did this, and everybody did that. And it just, I don't know. I just felt like super disappointed and just super irritated that they constructed it in such a sloppy, incoherent mess of a way. And then, as much as I love Mando, for a series about Boba Fett, I'm watching The Peacemaker. If they had a episode and a half and it was all Harley Quinn, I would have been like, what just happened? I was watching The Peacemaker, and now I'm watching something else. Just a really, really weird, bizarre choices. I mean, him riding the Rancor, I mean, they pretty much told you that was going to happen. Yeah, I'd like to learn to ride this one day. We're gonna see that happen in the finale. I'm going to go get him. I got to ship a lot of guns, but I'm going to go get my Rancor because it's going to look cool. Whatever. All right. It was just a whole lot of that. A whole lot of I'm watching it going, yeah, okay, whatever. The Hutts show up, then the Hutts walk away. The next episode, the Hutts show up, and the Hutts walk away.
Oh no, they got carried away.
Carried away. Yes. Yes.
They don't even walk in.
There's a Wookiee, and then the Wookiee, goodbye, Wookiee, goodbye. Wait, I should have hired that Wookiee. Next episode, I'm going to go to town. Hire that Wookiee. I'm going to walk into the casino, not too far. I can't go up. Stand there.
Clean my helmet.
Walk out. Oh my God!
Well, good night, everybody. This has been.
Do you feel like Boba Fett was different in the Mandalorian episodes? Like he came in and just like beat the snot out of some stormtroopers, and then we see him in his own show, and he's just like all chill. All of a sudden, he's not interested in like using force. He wants other people to do it, but he still just seems like super laid back, you know.
Totally. And if you're going to do that, show us why he went from being crazy and a killer to trying to like, you know, I really want to like turn over a new leaf. But they don't. They just kind of hard left turn. He's just a completely different guy. And it's, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I know Obi-Wan now is coming out in May. And I'm like freaking nervous after Book of Boba Fett. I am so nervous. I was so excited, and now I'm like, oh my god, what if they Book of Boba Fett?
We're gonna get whiny Darth Vader.
No, I have a. We'll talk about that in a minute. Back to the.
Sorry, I went off.
No. I think he went crazy in the Mandalorian, like because of what happened right before that. Because right before that is when he discovers all of his Tusken Raider family murdered and slain. And then he goes straight to that part, and he's like, I'm just killing everybody.
Getting my armor back.
Yeah.
But remember when we did that show for Mandalorian, I think that was like your favorite episode, right? Lots of people's favorite episodes of Mandalorian Season 2 was the one where Boba Fett goes bananas and the Luke Skywalker episode. Yeah. So then when they announced, hey, Book of Boba Fett show, you like that episode when he went bananas?
Yeah.
Wait until you see him walking around offering.
Do that all the time.
Well, they did. I mean, people complained about in the first that that's not the Boba Fett I know. Well, during the last the 5 and 6, they gave us the Boba Fett that we know. Mm-hmm. The guy that stands in the background and nods. So
true. True. I guess he didn't do a whole lot
because in Empire Strikes Back.
But if he had been wearing the helmet, I would have been like totally down with that. I'm serious because Mando is cool with the helmet. He just stands there and it's like, hey, Mando, and he just stands there and you can't see his face, but it's just a long thing of like he's staring you down, and it's like, oh, that is so bad.
Yeah, if he had Finnick do most of the talking for him, and if they kind of switched it a little bit, basically, it's like he does most of the talking, and then Finnick comes out and does all the awesome stuff. But if they'd switched it to where she did most of the talking for him, and then they talk back, and then he steps down and does something freaking cool, then that would be nice. But I think my thing was in the Mandalorian episode, he was kicking butt left and right or whatever, and in this one he's just I'm gonna fight. Oh man, my back. Yeah, I gotta get in the tank.
Old man Boba.
Oh, I'm gonna be in the tank for a bit. Hold on.
This is
time for a flashback.
His adrenaline was
so much of that tank in this.
I think
a lot of tank.
I think that that tank may be a test for what we're no listen, a test for what we're going to see in Obi-Wan. I think we're going to see Darth Vader in the back of the tank doing flashbacks to him and Obi-Wan. I think it's a test to see, okay, how are people going to respond to this?
I thought you meant it had just been hit, it's basically Obi-Wan just sitting around a campfire or something.
No.
Because binoculars, just watching Luke from afar.
I think that's how we're going to get
having a sandwich.
It's good. Oh, and Brew, hello there. Hello.
No, I think that's how we're going to get the face Anakin, basically. The younger, before pre-Darth Vader Anakin. I think it's going to be in the full-on Darth Vader back of the tank, and that's going to be his flashbacks, and they're testing it. They were testing it out.
But you can do it in a cool way, but I swear it seemed like it was the same shot every time, and it's like...
I agree. There was too much of that.
And then he's like, oh, the dreams are back. And I'm like... The dreams are back, as in your linear backstory flashbacks. I mean, I thought maybe he was having nightmares or something about being in the Sarlacc pit, or he was messed up mentally. But it was just a trope to go, hey, everyone watching at home, it's flashback time because I'm taking my sleepy bath, and when I take my sleepy bath, I think about Tusken Raiders. It just
Epsom salt in there.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of wish they had just done it almost in a linear fashion. I mean, get another kid to play him as a kid. They could have done time skips. Pick it up when he's holding the head of his dad, of Jango Fett. Jango Fett head could have slid out like cat food under the ground.
Oh, it was already. Oh, sorry.
And
That's
then
just me.
and then
It was already
just
gone by then.
show him like with Cad Bane, show a little bit of that, show him as Boba Fett in his prime, bounty hunting, and you'd have like a flash of Empire Strikes Back and a flash of Jedi, and again pretend that the audience knows nothing about the character, and just spend an episode or two going, this is Boba Fett. This is him from the time when he was a kid up until this moment. And then move forward with it. Instead, they kept jumping back, and the past never connected to the present. Even the Tusken Raider thing, I kept waiting for them to like come back or something. And outside of that one little piece of information that the Pikes killed the family, which got relayed twice in the same episode of the finale, which I'm like, what? There was no point to it. So it's like,
you got a gaffy stick,
but do it linear. Just do it linear. The first couple episodes could have just been, this is me in the past. This is me in the time that all you Star Wars fans know about, and this is me after Return of the Jedi, which brings us up to this point right here. And
I think they should have done the flashbacks in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then 3 and 4 should have been present, and then we could do the Mandalorian, and then 6 and 7, present.
The last, the flashbacks I think could have been 1 episode, or just like I was saying, just like start with that. But then the big fight, the big war that everything's been building up to, happened so quickly that I think they could have spread that out over 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, it should have been 8 episodes.
Yeah, and I think to me, it's just like I have a fortress away from the town that will draw all their fire. Now I'm going to stay in the middle of town in the blown up building and draw all the fire around all these families that live here. I'm going to do that instead.
He took the millennials' advice. That's why.
Yeah, and it's just like
big mistake.
The 1 episode could have been them in the fortress. I mean, it could have been freaking Helm's Deep from like Lord of the Rings, of them like busting in and breaking down like Jabba's fortress, and then it's spreading out into the town, and all that. And like, you could have had the like the Riders of Rohan coming over. It could have been the people of Freetown like coming through with the sun behind them,
or the Tusken Raiders,
or the
or more than just 20 pikes. I mean, I thought this was such a big operation. They had like 20 guys and 3 gigantic, ridiculous robots, and then they defeated them, and they're like, well, I guess we're gonna leave Tatooine now. But they don't, because Finnick suddenly remembers that she's a master assassin and kills everybody.
You
could have done that 5 episodes ago.
Wasn't that the first episode? Send her in.
I know. I'm like, and that's the thing that was so frustrating, because I'm watching this going, you guys are better than this. I mean, you did 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. I mean, this is the best you guys could come up with. I mean, come on. I mean, I thought this was going to be a glimpse into like the criminal underworld or the seedy side of Star Wars. But again, it's the Godfather with the heart of gold. I care for the people who pay me protection money.
It is Disney Plus. I mean,
what? Well, I know, but Mandalorian, man, he chopped dudes up and took the guy's head. I mean, come on. And he has a little adorable son that we love. It's like, he's a hero, and he's like, going wackadoo on these bounties. I mean, Boba Fett could have been a little bit more cutthroat, and it would have been okay. He didn't have to shoot first or anything.
Oh man, this is fun. I'm having fun.
This is actually agonizing. Actually,
the flashback that I wanted, the only flashback that I wanted, was the Cad Bane Boba Fett shootout.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh well, if they're doing flashbacks, they're definitely going to do that flashback. But they didn't. Because they could have got Daniel Logan to be Boba Fett for that flashback.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been so cool to see him back.
Yeah. And again, I mean, it's like with things, because my kids were telling me, like, oh, well, they have a history and so forth and so on. Dad, you never watched the Clone Wars, and that's how he got the dent in the helmet. And I'm like, oh, well, that would have been cool to, like, even if he had a line or something, like, hey, remember when I give you that dent in the helmet? I mean, just...
Yeah, they alluded to it with the line, this is the last lesson I'm teaching you, or whatever. Like, they alluded to it with that line, but it's like
a real jump there.
Well,
yeah.
But that's what they were talking about.
And now he's supposedly dead, but now in Star Wars, no one's dead because they can survive for hours on the back of a Bantha, the slowest moving creature in Star Wars, so that they can get modded hours after being shot.
Well, the sand of Tatooine really preserves the body.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
sand does get everywhere, so it just kind of cauterizes.
Now, nobody knows. You wouldn't know this from the show, and you wouldn't know it, Ray, but Cad Bane does have a droid that fixes him up all the time. So the thing blinking, it wasn't blinking the whole time he was in the show until he died, and it started blinking. I think that was
calling the robot.
That was calling his droid to come get him and fix him up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure he's not dead.
I think he's cool. I'd like to see more of him.
Yeah, I definitely want to see more of him.
In a different show, though.
Because I watched.
So if they did Book of Boba Fett season 2 and it was phenomenal, you'd be like, "Nah, I'm not going to go for this."
If it was phenomenal, I would be like, "Hey, this was phenomenal."
I like Cad Bane. I liked it because I watched the Clone Wars and stuff. I watched all that, so I kind of knew the character. But yeah, similar to Ray, like my wife who watched it with me. She hadn't watched any of that stuff. So the moment he got stabbed, she was like, well, that was a waste of a character.
Like, high five. Yeah, I guess. High five your wife. Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, from your perspective, that's true. It doesn't make any sense. Like, they really built this guy up. And
well, I mean, you could say the same thing about Darth Maul. I mean,
they
killed him.
Yes, you could. Yeah. That was a waste of character, too.
But they brought him back.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, you made a show based off a cool bounty hunter that was killed too early in Star Wars. And in your show, you took a cool bounty hunter and killed him too early.
He's going to be back.
Star Wars.
He's going to be back.
See, next season, Cad Bane will be in the Bacca tank, having his sleepy baths, dreaming back to when he was laying in the street, crawling.
Somebody's already
only to be
there.
found by Tusken Raiders. And Jawas who took his armor.
Yeah, he gets found by the Jawas, and he becomes one of the Jawas. He ends up dating the mechanic girl.
Moto?
Yeah.
Moto Pelly.
She was like she was one of my favorite characters in this.
Oh, she's hilarious.
Yeah.
The one scene that I liked with the attendant to the mayor guy, because he got annoying quite a bit.
Yeah. Mayor McCheese.
Yeah, when he gets shot at by the big monster droid, and he's behind that thing, and she's like, "Hey, nice head tails there."
Yeah, pretty face. Get behind me.
Yeah, Mama will protect you. Yeah. Like, that's great. Like,
found her a less furry alien boyfriend.
Why were they keeping him? Why were they keeping him around? Why?
Because he's
comedy.
Because he's because he's friends with Jon Favreau. If we're being honest, probably because those two worked. Pelimoto, what's her name? Amy Sedaris, and that actor have worked on a bunch of stuff together.
Oh, okay.
So they worked on a bunch of shows, and they both are friends with Jon Favreau. So it makes sense why they put them on there together.
That one guy with the water that's from The Office, I'm sure he's friends with him too. So not The Office, Office Space. Sorry.
I liked his character. I liked him in the last episode. He was hilarious.
Yeah, he was.
They had a lot of nice homages to a bunch of other stuff.
What do you mean?
Especially like the in the Bryce Dallas Howard episode with Terminator,
Superman,
and like Jurassic Park and stuff like that. I thought all that was cool.
Yeah.
The one homage that might be my favorite now was in this last episode though. When the Rancor is first showing up, pulling himself up, I was like, "Oh, it's the Bumble from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer." It's like it's great. Like if you go back and watch that and listen to the music that's actually playing when it's coming up, it sounds a lot like the Bumble music from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And it's just the claws coming. I was like, oh, that's weird. That's okay.
All right, so what is the Book of Boba? Where was the book? Was there a book in there? Why did they call it the Book of Boba Fett?
There was a few on the tables, I think. They
must use tablets.
Should have been the tablet of Boba Fett because the guy was reading.
That was his
pamphlet.
Book.
The pamphlet of Boba Fett.
Pamphlet.
That was funny.
I'm hiring for my crime family. Perhaps you might be interested. It's just Finnick and I. It's just us. We would like to join our family of crime. It's a big palace, and it's just us.
Boba Fett going door to door, just putting those little leaflets on people's doors. Vote for Boba Fett.
Yeah, I thought a cool idea would have been like once because when him and Finnick in the flashback, when they went to bust the ship out and whatnot, there were way more people still working in in Jabba's palace than when he took over.
Yeah.
I would have thought it might be kind of cool, and in a way to bring some of these characters back in. If you're now the head of your own crime family, why not reach out to Dengar and other bounty hunters that you've worked with in the past, who maybe aren't, the nicest of people, but they are loyal, and you know them and can trust them, and start to build and surround yourself with people, of scum and villainy to help you out there. Instead of you and Finnick walking down the street, hiring 2 Gamorrean guards who were so worthless, who did nothing.
Poor piggies.
The entire series, they were the worst bodyguards in the world. And then hiring, Griff's gang from Back to the Future too. It's like,
I don't think he's chums friends with. If he paid him enough, I guess. With those.
He said he had enough money.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. You don't have to be. They don't have to be like your best buds, but you need muscle and you need people that can get the job done.
If they're alive,
be loyal to your coin. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that's what they were going to kind of do with this, was like him forming his own like mafia gang or whatever, and it would be a gang of bounty hunters.
Yeah, he formed a gang. It was just not what we wanted.
Robin Hood and his
toys.
That was
from Greece.
That was a theory that the Book of Boba Fett is a mafia term, based on a mafia term, an open book, which means basically inviting people into the family. And he was invited into the Tusken family. So then he was inviting people into his new family. So that's a take on it. That it's
wasn't very good at it.
Well, he invited people, some people.
Not very good at it.
Kids.
It was the people he fought against that he brought in with him, right? So the Wookiee, I guess Finnick didn't.
Beat you. Now you're with me.
That Wookiee was awesome.
Well, what's funny is that
pretty awesome.
I mentioned this to Chris earlier, but Boba Fett offering people jobs has been like my running joke when I watch this with my son after he took care of the street riffraff by offering them jobs in his outreach program. But so when him and Cad Bane walk out into the street, whatever, I said to my son, I was like, "Watch, he's gonna offer him a job." And then Boba Fett's like, "If you're here for a job, it's already taken." It's like, oh my god, him and his jobs. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
All right, so Ray, is there anything you liked?
There were moments. And again, I loved all the Mandalorian stuff, right? But that's
What was your favorite Mandalorian part of it?
I love the last bit. The last bit was amazing when Grogu's sitting in the back tapping on the glass, and he's just like, "No, no."
Yeah.
All right, one more time. Like, that's so Grogu. I kind of wish, and Chris and I had talked about it, I kind of wish that they had drawn some of that out with Luke and Grogu. It could have been had this been a proper season of Mandalorian, I feel like they could have gone like 3 to 4 episodes of, Mando's doing his thing, Grogu's with Luke, and then kind of let that build and have them come back together. It felt like they really hit the gas on that, which was a little, it kind of makes the end of season 2 a little not as teary because, they'll be back together.
Yeah. If people didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, they're going to come back to season 3 and be like, wait a minute.
They're going to
hell? Then he just...
Did Luke get all stabby in the middle of the night thing and he ran off? Like,
so when he showed up by himself in the X-wing, I was like, oh, this is how Grumpy Luke starts. Grogu made Grumpy Luke by choosing the best car.
Well, dude, I'll tell you, when I saw the X-wing, I was like just under my breath, I was like, man, it better not be Luke.
Oh
my God, man. Because I was joking with Chris going, so it was Luke. What if Grogu picks Mando? Luke's going to come back, and then he's going to be like, Boba Fett? And then he's going to throw that Jedi. Oh my gosh. I got to, Han I'm here with Boba Fett. He's out of the Sarlacc pit. Say hi to Chewie. Oh my gosh. So when I saw the X-wing, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. They're going to pull Luke into this now too. Oh no.
I loved how they made sure to let you know that the droid flew it. Because she's like, I know the droid flew the X-wing.
yes, I know. Gosh.
I actually didn't like the episode where they spent so much time with Luke and Grogu. I thought that whole episode was like they just did a full episode, which was my favorite. Like I said this on the last episode or whenever we talked about it, that episode with Mando was my favorite episode of the whole show, but also favorite Star Wars thing that I've seen in a long time. Like it was really good, right?
Yeah.
Just all the elements that were there. But then to do it again with more Mandalorian things, it was like, oh my gosh, come on! This is supposed to be about Boba Fett, and I'm not the biggest Grogu fan. I'll say it. I don't care, but I don't like the cutesy crap.
Cover his ears. Don't let him hear.
I mean, I've got him back here too. Whatever, but it's I don't know. It's just weird to me. But anyways, I just thought they spent too much time on that. And they could have done more with the Boba Fett story that they're trying to do, right? Instead of bringing him in, which I understand now why they did more of it, but why not just save that for Mandalorian? Because again, if you didn't watch Boba Fett, then because I told my mom, I was like, don't watch Boba Fett. This was like 2 or 3 episodes into it. Like, don't worry about it. Just wait till Mandalorian comes on. Which now I've got to tell her you got to watch it now because you'll miss something.
You could probably watch the last 3 episodes. And
yeah.
3
or 4, yeah.
I mean, Boba and Mando fighting together, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Boba's in the helmet. He's in the helmet. He looks cool when he's in the helmet. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, if Vader was walking around with his helmet under his arm, he would not look as cool.
He's got to show off those pearly whites.
Yeah. He got some of the whitest freaking teeth, right? It must have been the sandstorms. He must have just been like,
natural teeth brushing.
The Sarlacc pit, all the acid really ate away.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true.
I loved seeing them fight together. But the one thing that got me was, okay, they planned a sneak attack. They both come in on jetpacks, shooting everybody, and then land exactly in front of the door they would have came out of.
Yeah.
That they couldn't get past to begin with. And it's like, this is like a city. You could have gone around like behind them.
But visually, that wouldn't have been as good.
We only.
They
built
still
this
could have
much of
flown
the set,
in.
so.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just okay, we're out and we're surrounded again.
I kind of thought they might try to. I thought they were trying to round up the robots so that they might shoot each other because, like, maybe that's the only way to destroy those shields. Because he was like running around, like, I got this. He's just running or flying around, whatever he's doing, and nope.
I mean, Jar Jar can take out like big things like that, like easy peasy, and they couldn't.
Oh, these shields were.
So
those droids? Those droids are from Star Wars Legends. They're actually in other stuff. So that was a deep cut, but it is pulled from Star Wars Legends.
But they couldn't be cut by the.
Yeah. So it's pulled from I forget what it was, but something Star Wars. It's not canon anymore.
What?
Because once Disney bought it, all that Legend stuff is not canon.
Yeah.
So they
Right,
pulled
right.
those from a Legends book.
They looked a little too Terminator to me.
Mm.
They were like Droidicas on steroids, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Slave 1 taking out the biker gang was cool. I like that.
Those poor bikers, they didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
They got blamed for everything.
I don't know. Poor biker guys.
Again, that's why I think he was so angry in Mandalorian, because it all happened around that time.
Sure.
So he had to.
Speaking of bikes, those scooters were so slow. Every time you'd see them,
Well, they're scooters.
you would just see them like
they're not speeder bikes; they're scooters.
I know, but it's like, why? You're not going to get anywhere.
And I think they're electric scooters, so they have to stop and charge them periodically.
How did they even? Those things don't run over sand. They don't do it well.
It was from artwork. That's why they used those from Ralph McQuarrie.
Oh, I know. I
Ralph
understand.
McQuarrie, but
Terrible.
at the same time, like they, I mean, artwork and stuff, it's going to look kind of, probably nicer and shinier. Especially concept stuff. They haven't quite found exactly the look necessarily in some artwork stuff like that. They could have just at least dirtied them up a little bit.
Make them fit with the world. I mean, it looked like they just landed off of Coruscant. Like they just were like, "Oh, this planet's awful."
I thought of them as like the preppy kids of Tatooine. There's that always that one little group where it's like, we're better than you. We're modded. We have all the shiny stuff. We're cool. We're the cool kids with all the latest trends and fads. We're just teenagers hanging out,
stealing water.
Still said they would have been dirty.
Grease, lightning.
Even the rich people on Tatooine.
Hey, Anakin said that the sand gets everywhere. Okay.
Yep.
So I don't care how preppy you are, sand should get everywhere. It's coarse and it's rough, and it would rip the paint right off those pretty bikes.
Has a mod that cleans everything. He's like a little brush that puts on his hand.
He's like a cleaning mod.
A little vacuum cleaner he puts on his hand.
It. I got this, guys.
Oh, the mod guy was the main guy that modded everybody. Is actually a bass player for a band, Thunder. Oh, I just forgot his name. But that's why the music was the way it was, because that's the type of music that guy actually plays. That really bassy, techno-y like stuff. What is his name? Thunder something or something like that.
Thunder Strike.
So I guess the marshal who was shot dead in the street and laid there probably for hours before anyone knew that Cad Bane had shot him.
No, he didn't lay there for hours. The people immediately came to his aid.
And put him in the back of the tank because they knew he had it.
Yeah.
But see, he was shot in the shoulder, and it clearly shows that.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, when you watch
you can't bleed out.
Look at the chart.
I'm just saying, he was clearly shot in the shoulder.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
I mean, if you look at it, he gets hit right here, and he goes this way. So
if you look.
Oh, gosh.
Back and to the left.
Oh, the magic laser bolt theory.
If I shot you in the shoulder, you probably wouldn't die.
You're taking a direct turn, then magically switched air.
Go back and watch it. He clearly gets shot in the shoulder.
He does get
shot.
So
why
after Finnick got shot in the gut and was found, moments later and rode in the back of, again, the slowest moving creature in Star Wars. If she could survive that, then death in Star Wars is just kind of, you're fine. You're fine. Even if you got shot here, you're fine. You got at least 2 hours. We'll mind you up. You'll be good.
Well, Cad Bane was shot there. That's why he has the plate on his head. Boba Fett shot him in the head.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. There we go.
Just like in Kingsman, they've got like that thing they put around someone's head and it fills up with fluid and keeps them safe. It kept Mandalorian safe.
What about the deputy? Is there no vodka tank for the deputy?
Not for that.
I'm sure he's probably next. He's probably in line.
He was
He'll get in the vodka tank.
No one liked him anyway.
Nobody liked him.
You gotta remember, this is Star Wars. This is not like real life.
But you'd think a skilled bounty hunter such as Cad Bane would have realized he didn't kill him, or maybe he didn't want to kill him. Maybe
I don't think he came there to kill him. I think the deputy just screwed up, and it just threw everything into chaos.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Barney.
Because that guy just wanted to be the big hero, and you knew as soon as he walked out, it said, "You can't park that here." To Mando, I'm like, well, he's dead. He's gonna die soon. He's not staying around. Somebody's gonna kill him.
Oh my gosh.
And then I saw that silhouette of Cad Bane. I'm like, well, there's who's going to kill the deputy.
Shot the sheriff and the deputy.
Yeah.
You shot the sheriff?
There's a meme going around that has Bob Marley on one side and Cad Bane on the other.
Oh, I think I saw
and
that.
He says, he goes, I shot the sheriff or whatever. And he goes, but you didn't shoot the deputy, right? You didn't shoot the deputy, right?
That's awesome.
So my theory is that the marshal is going to take Boba's place, because he said he didn't want to do it anymore, do the whole king thing, right? He's like, I don't want to do this. So, and that's my theory, is that he's going to end up
RoboCop.
Book of
Yeah,
Marshall.
like he'll be the marshal of that area, of whatever area.
See, and I wish they had. And again, that's what I was kind of saying earlier. I just wish, if they're going for like a Western kind of a thing, have it be about the town, and maybe Freetown is next door to Mos Espa. But to keep talking about our planet and the planet, when you're not fighting for the planet, you're fighting for this town, and make it more, and have the people rise up. And the people didn't rise up because everyone was running from a giant robot. It felt like Wild Wild West or something. The Will Smith movie. Yeah. I was just like,
the giant spider.
I was like, what? Yeah, that was my immediate thought. I was like, funny. Oh my god!
It's called a Scorpion Knox or Scorpion something.
The Wild Wild West.
I'm not gonna work here.
Wiki wow wow.
Wiki wow.
I would watch a Freetown show if they wanted to make one of those. I'd watch that. I think there's a lot of story they could do there. Mm-hmm. My thing about it was, this is sort of all of Star Wars. Why is everybody so fascinated with Tatooine? We've seen so many other planets that are so much nicer, and everybody's like,
thinking that
we got to go to Tatooine. I've heard if we go to, it's the place to be. Let's go to this dust ball.
The worst.
What
planet.
about this Endor? This moon over here. This looks nice. It's all nice and pretty. No. Let me tell you, the sands of Tatooine. It's beautiful this time of year.
Prime territory.
Endor's over Bespin or something. I mean, absolutely. I mean, that was part of my thing with wanting to understand why Boba Fett. Because keep in mind, it's like you almost died on this planet. This thing almost killed you, and you survived. But now you want to hang out here and make a life here, and you want to take over what Jabba was doing because you want to work for I get it. Okay, you don't want to be a bounty hunter anymore. Go, man. Get your ship. Go someplace and make a life somewhere. I mean, nicer than where you are. I mean...
And if he was about revenge, I mean, I would think like Han Solo, top of the list.
Yeah.
Oh, he was
the guy
blind.
that accidentally hit my jetpack.
He was blind.
Sarlacc pit.
Like, kind of his fault. He was in that position.
Yeah, kill the bikers that you think killed the Tuscans and get the heck off the planet.
I think maybe that's where we'll see him next. Like if we see him next, he'll retired to the moon of Endor because
he's a farmer. He's farming with Thanos.
In one of the interviews they did, they asked about who is a list of favorite creatures from Star Wars. And he goes, I picked the Ewoks. They were fun to work with. And everybody's like, what? There's going to be Ewoks in this? Well, that's going to be coming up. That's where he retires. He retires. He lives with the Ewoks,
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't know. It was fun. I think now, I think he changed because living with the Tusken Raiders, because he lived with the Tusken Raiders for 5 years. It wasn't like a couple of weeks. He lived with them for 5 years. Straight.
They didn't, they didn't put like that. They didn't like tell you that very well.
That's the time period. He lived with them for 5 years. He became a Tusken Raider pretty much, part of their clan. And I think that's one of the big reasons why he is the way he is now and why he wants to basically start a new family, because he lived with these people for 5 years, took on their customs, and now they're gone, and he wants that family because he grew to love that family. So maybe they should have done the whole show of just him and the Tuscans, because then we could have done the whole 5 years or something.
Well, again, I think it's the execution. It just,
Well, yeah, it
was just poorly done. Even when the Tuscans were murdered, and it's like it seemed like people were like, oh, the kid wasn't there, and that one that was all dressed in black and who was really good with martial arts, her body wasn't there. So I was thinking, okay, well, maybe they're gonna turn back up or something, and no.
They should have brought them in, and they should have had the Jawas in the big fight scene, taking parts out from the Pike's vehicles and stuff to sabotage them.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was going to happen. I'm like, oh, well, we got Jawas now. And they basically said Jawas stole this big power thing from the Pikes. I'm like, oh, well, they're going to come back in the end and they're going to help.
By sabotaging ships.
Yeah, by sabotaging ships. Yeah. But they didn't. If they had if they had the Tusken Raiders come from one end, the Jawas doing their thing, the Freetown people coming in, the Power Rangers bike crew, Big Chrysanthemum, or however you say his name.
Chrysanthemum,
and the Mandalorian. Then you would have this sort of big mafia type family where he's pulling people from all over the area. They just needed to include the Tusken Raiders and the Jawas, and it would have been better. Just a little. They didn't have to be in there long. Just, a little bit. But I still enjoyed it. But it does have its flaws, and the whole first half of it was a mess. But, episodes 5 and 6, I liked a lot. I liked the finale too. I didn't think we were going to get. People were like, "Who's going to be the next big surprise in the finale?" And I was like, "I don't think we're getting anybody else." Before the finale, I'm like, I don't think the only person I thought was maybe Crimson Dawn was going to show up, and they were going to be the ones pulling strings, hitting the Pikes against Boba, and they were going to be like, "Oh, well," they were going to go to Boba and be like, the Pikes blew up the sanctuary. They're the ones blowing it up, and Crimson Dawn was actually the ones blowing stuff up, but dressed as the Pikes. That would have been cool. But I didn't think they were going to bring any other bounty hunters or anything in, because what was he going to do? Pull up his phone and be like, "Can you get here right now?" Don't worry, I'll be there.
Well, I mean, I was kind of expecting that in the Mandalorian episode. I kept waiting for Fennec to show up to hire him.
Yeah,
I was waiting for some sort of connection to the main weak story of Book of Boba Fett, but there was none. It was just solely a Mandalorian episode.
The end. He popped up at the end, or she popped up at the end.
Yeah, she did.
Because he happened to be on planet.
Yeah, because that was the thing. I mean, that whole episode when he's on the ship and he's going to Tatooine, I was like, oh, here we go. Now he's going to run into Boba Fett. But then I was like, oh, okay, he has a reason to go, because she called to say that she found a ship for him. Okay, that makes sense. And I was like, okay, at some point, Boba Fett's going to show up. At some point, it's going to tie back into the story. Episode is almost over. When's it gonna? Oh, here it comes, Fennec. There we go. There's the tie. And then he's like, well, I got to go see Grogu first. Okay, I guess this isn't. I'm like, there's only 2 more episodes left. What's going on? When are we going to get back to the show here with the guy? So I don't know. I think, if anything, a lesson to be learned here is maybe do series and shows on lesser known characters or brand new characters like Mando. Don't try to take a character like, oh, we're going to take Boba Fett and give him a whole show, and we're going to show this whole other side to him, that he's really just a boring stand around guy. Isn't that cool?
What if they didn't? Really. What if they hadn't called it the Book of Boba Fett and they called it the Battle of Tatooine, or
Book of Frank?
No, not even the book. It wasn't about one. They didn't focus the name around one character, but they focused it around
more of an ensemble kind of thing.
Would you like it better?
That probably would have been better. I mean, the thing for me, because my wife, she's not like super into Star Wars and stuff, but a couple episodes in, she was like, I don't really know anything about him to keep me interested in him.
Yeah.
And it made me start to think, it's like, well, how many people are really hanging on to this just because it's Boba Fett? If this was not Star Wars, if this was like a completely different, if you changed the names of all the characters, would he be compelling? Would you be interested in him? And I would venture to say you wouldn't, because 3 or 4 episodes in, I still didn't know his motivations. I still didn't know why he was doing what he was doing. And I feel like that's just basic character development. You got to establish your characters quick. Like Mandalorian, first episode, man, the first 5 minutes when he walks into the bar, there is so much like, he's like just dripping with personality and character, and you can't even see his face. And I feel like 3 episodes in, all he had going for him was his name and Empire Strikes Back. And that's it.
Or
It's like, fell in pretty fast. But
he's in it, though.
But outside of that, it's like, I'm not seeing you do anything. I'm not seeing your motivations or what's driving you or anything to go, oh, yeah, you're really cool, and Finnick's really cool. I mean, she's just there to kind of, we should do something. We should plan. We can't let them get away with this. I agree. Sleepy bath. Oh, give me something here, guys. Just give me. And I was thinking about this tonight before the show. IG-11, Mandalorian. How many episodes was IG-11 in? Like 3, maybe 4. When IG-11 sacrificed himself, I was like verklempt. I was like, oh no, IG-11, I love you. They did such a great job making you care about this droid and the handful of episodes that he's in. And quite honestly, if Finnick had gotten blown away in the final episode, I would have been like, waste of a potentially good character. But we never got to know you. I never got to know you to miss you, unfortunately.
What they did with Cad Bane.
With Cad Bane, and again, it's like, okay. But I didn't really know you.
I think they're relying too heavily on Clone Wars Bad Batch, because those characters were fleshed out more in those.
Yeah.
And people that don't watch the animated stuff can be lost. And the people that do watch the animated stuff are like, oh, that's sweet. Yeah, we get more of him. We get more of her. So that's where the fine line is.
Yeah. I'm sure there was a thought process going like, oh, we've already kind of told a lot of their story here. The fans of all this, are they going to feel like we're just recapping stuff?
Yeah.
But they didn't go they didn't go far enough, though. It's like they needed to find more of a middle ground to introduce these characters better for people who.
Yeah. For Cad Bane, all they had to do was do the flashback of their first, I don't want to say quick draw, whatever that is. What do you call it? Standoff? Shootout.
Standoff.
That's all they had to show. And then people that didn't know who Cad Bane was would be like, oh, so he's somebody from their past that they fought before. Yeah. All right.
Well, he could have been in the flashback with the Pikes when Boba Fett first went there, like just with them that they had hired him.
Because my daughter was saying that Boba Fett hung out with him and like learned sort of the bounty hunter trade from Cad Bane.
He was with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of important.
Yeah. No, it is.
To know when they're going to have a standoff and he's going to kill him. And it's like, it's like when she told me that, I was like, oh, that's cool. But the show's not telling me this.
It needed more episodes. This thing that they've gone into at Disney Plus with Marvel and with basically all their shows, Star Wars, where it's like every season is like 6, 7, 8 episodes. I think it sometimes does more harm than good, because you can't flesh anything out especially if the episodes are like 30 minutes. Mandalorian lucked out on that. Mandalorian lucked out. They did a great job with it. But even some of the Marvel shows,
I'd say they had time here. They just chose what they chose to do with their time was.
Well, I mean, even like the Marvel shows with Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier. If they had more episodes for that show, it would have been a lot better. But they decided to take one whole episode and focus on building a boat. It's just.
I mean, Hawkeye did. Hawkeye
Hawkeye
had
did
less
good.
episodes than them, and
Well, they didn't
they did
overcomplicate
good.
things.
And Loki did good. I mean, Loki had its ups and downs on its own, but I mean, I think they were able to do it. And like their shows on Netflix, and I think it's able to be done. But yeah, I agree with Ray that they spent their time where they shouldn't have, and just really drew stuff out like too long, where it could have been really condensed.
Yeah.
What if
my wife started making jokes about appointments? She was like, I never knew that so many characters in Star Wars were into scheduling and having appointments, because it just seemed like every time they turned around, it was like, I need to speak to the mayor. Do you have an appointment? No, I don't. Did he just lock the door? Oh my God.
I thought that was
this
funny.
amateur hour. I mean, yeah, but
I'll go get him.
I thought that was funny.
The light went from green to red.
I was laughing.
Then like there's another time I was like, well, his schedule is very busy. You have to schedule an appointment. Oh, another appointment joke. Awesome. Lots of appointments being scheduled.
Well,
so when Mando went to see Grogu, my son made the appointment joke. When Mando's like sees Ahsoka and is like, I'm looking for Grogu. Do you have an appointment? Did you call ahead? Does Luke know? His schedule is very busy. He does have an opening between 10 and 2 tomorrow. Come back tomorrow.
What did you think about Ahsoka showing up, Ray?
Again, it felt like they were hitting the gas on stuff. It was kind of like, here's another character from that other show that you like. She happens to have a show too. Everyone's here. Who else? Oh, Bo-Katan. We got Bo-Katan.
She didn't show up. That's good.
It was. I mean, I liked the dialogue between her and Luke, and I was like, "Oh, are we going to see more?" I would have liked to see your first meeting. Maybe that would be in a sleepy bath that someone will have.
I like seeing them together, and I like the line was that, "Oh, you're a lot like your father," or whatever she said, which I thought would be.
He rages out on her. What does that mean?
I thought it would be funny if he was like, so Grogu learns. Oh wait. That was your father? And then he goes, let me show you some more. And then you see Anakin just cutting everybody down. He's like, wait a second. Give me that best car. I'm out of here. Because if that was your dad and you're a lot like him, then I'm gone.
Yeah.
I got real excited there. I thought we were going to get like Grogu's whole backstory. It was kind of like we only got like a little picture of it. Yeah. And at first I was like, oh my God, is that Anakin? Oh, no, wait, there's 3 lightsabers. Oh, no, that's Jedi's defending themselves. And it was like, I will show you. And it's like, traumatic. And then like the next scene is like them looking at a mountain. Grogu, the world is very dangerous. What else? What else did you see?
Yeah, I think we're going to
pass. Well, here you go.
Yeah. Mandalorian
have some 3. Nightmares.
Yeah. Mandalorian season 3, we'll get more of that. I thought it was interesting that, and this is another deep cut, in that flashback scene, they show Barriss Offrey, or however you say her last name's office, because it has her big symbol on the front of the door, which she's a character from the animated series, so you wouldn't know, right? But I'm like, is she the one that took Grogu, or because she's a Jedi that started disagreeing with the Jedi. She was like very book smart type learner or whatever, and she sort of does her own thing and does a bunch of stuff with Ahsoka that like sort of goes against Ahsoka, I think. And
Jedis don't like to read.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was sort of her thing. She would stay in her room and she would read books about the way, and it sort of led her down a dark path. And so it was interesting that they put her basically big symbol on the side of the wall there by her office or door. So I'm like, is she going to be in Ahsoka? Like, could she be a character in Ahsoka? Because that'd be sort of cool if she's still around.
I think Katrin's right. I think it was a one-armed Mace Windu. A freshly cooked one-armed Mace Windu.
I sort of, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about them bringing back Mace. It would have to be.
Bring back everybody.
But no one dies.
He got modded, man. He was fine. They put him on the back of a Bantha and rode him across the desert.
Part of me thinks that
Across the
R2
galaxy, Tatooine.
that we'll find out that R2's the one that actually saved Grogu.
Maybe.
I
Maybe.
mean, the
Inside
mayor's
of his
guy,
hat.
he said he was from Coruscant. So, I mean, Mace could have landed in front of him. He could have picked him up, put him on a ship, and took him to Tatooine with him.
Well, other places have Bacta tanks.
Only
Yeah.
Tatooine. There's only one planet in the galaxy, Ryan, and it is Tatooine.
They make the fine.
It's true.
I agree, though, man. Let's get the heck off of Tatooine. I don't ever want to go back there again.
I just
Cool the first time.
I just don't
but,
understand
yeah.
why, like at the end when tourism's back, basically.
Yeah.
Like, why are all these people going
Rex,
to
he's
Tatooine?
working.
I
Yeah.
don't understand.
Everything's good.
I mean, maybe it's like a central location where people can switch.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
Planes.
It's a hub.
transfers and
It's
The
a
stuff.
hub for the
Probably
outer
so.
rim.
Yeah.
It must
It's basically like with people in history and wars and stuff. They're like
Yeah.
you tour
Mhm.
like the famous places. So they're taking a tour Tatooine where Darth Vader
This is where the
grew
power
up.
is.
I guess.
Like, and this is where he built C-3PO. C-3PO, people know C-3PO, right? Well, this is where he built him.
The thing you push the button, boop, and you can hear C-3PO talk. Oh, that is how he sounded. That's what. Yeah, it's okay.
And
I
here's
remember.
here's Watto. Oh, hello, hey, how you guys doing? He runs the trinket shop for the tour.
Since we all can agree,
nice things here. Look good. You like?
they'll keep it moving. Since
You
we
ever
all
heard
can
of a
agree
Wookiee?
that we like Mandalorian, do you think Mando is giving up bounty hunting
Hope not.
to basically
Become a Mandalorian again?
that and to take care of
Yeah.
Grogu and everything?
I
I
don't know.
mean, his ship sort of foreshadows that it's not
Yeah.
a bounty hunter
True.
ship. It's
Not yet.
unless
New
you
one.
just like kill everybody, and bring
Yeah.
in their heads because
True.
they could throw their head back there with Grogu. Just
Yeah, you
keep
can
this
play
on
with
ice
it.
for me.
Yeah.
Grogu just sucking on.
I don't know. Unless, I mean, I'm kind of hoping it's not going to be all about finding the fountain to become a man. Because that was one thing in the episode of The Mandalorian that was kind of bizarre. It was like, did you take off your helmet? No, never. Did you take off your helmet? And there's a long pause. Is he going to lie? And he was like, yes, I did. Well, you're no longer a Mandalorian. Get out. You can keep the armor and the Darksaber.
Yeah.
Sure. I
Well.
can't. You want me to turn this stuff in? No, it's yours. But you're out. You are out. Our
So
clan
what's-
of three is now a
What's the
clan of
benefit
two.
of being a Mandalorian again?
Yeah, doesn't the saber mean that I
I have,
rule
I have
over
the saber.
you? Like,
Yeah.
this means I'm your boss, right?
That's right.
Pretty sure I'm your boss.
Yeah.
So I think you're out.
Plus, I want that saber, and there's only 3 of us, but I'm going to kill you for it. Dude, there's only 3 of us.
Don't kill a person.
Just accept that I have it.
There's a deeper story. I think that's going to be part of season 3 because I think she didn't want him to have the Darksaber, and she knows that they have to win it in battle.
Mhm.
And the dude lost. Her guy, Paz Vizsla, right? Her champion
On
lost,
Favreau.
and I think she knew that he had taken his helmet off.
Sure.
And she said,
Yeah.
"Oh, so have you taken your helmet off?"
Yeah.
And he's
Sick
like,
burn.
"Yeah." And she's like, "Okay, then you're not part of our clan anymore. You're out." Because she already played her trump card she played her card of her champion, and he lost. So she just had to think in the moment, okay, how do I get this guy out of here?
Hmm.
And she said, "Have you taken your helmet off?" And he said, "Yeah." Okay, that's part of it. Because they're the children of the Watch, and I think in season 3, Death Watch is going to rise up because the children of the Watch, Death Watch, I mean,
Mhm.
they go together, and Death Watch is the big bads, the big bads of Mandalore. So I think, and even her helmet, Death Watch has the horns coming out of their helmets.
Oh, okay.
And so I think she's gonna be a big bad in season 3.
Interesting.
There's not even like a fountain or anything to go wash in. She's just like, yeah, you got to go wash in a
Oh,
fountain.
she was just saying that to get him as an excuse. She doesn't want him back. She does not want
See,
him
I
to be
figured
part
he
of the
would
clan.
find the fountain, and then he'd fill up a few jugs. So then every time Grogu was like, and he's like, all right, takes it off. Oh, Grogu. And then he like douses himself with the water. I'm a Mandalorian again. And he's like, okay.
There's a couple whips on the back.
Last time, I'm a Mandalorian again.
I think he's gonna go searching because he doesn't. I don't think he understands that the armor is basically a big bad Death Watch. He's gonna go looking for the fountain, and that's where the rise of the Mythosaur is gonna come, and we're gonna actually see a live action Mythosaur. It's not a skull, I think, because it's gonna be living underneath the, in the planet wherever those waters are. So that's what I think, but I could be wrong, and I probably am. They're probably just going to say, "Hey, let's do some more. Remember this thing? Let's do that." And same. They probably won't go that deep, but they did other deep cuts that only some people know. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think it'd be cool to see a Mythosaur.
Was that?
Yeah.
What made the Mandalorian so great though was that it's a Western, a Star Wars Western, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we loved about it when we first saw it. It's like that first episode, you're like, this is a Western, and it, hopefully it goes back to that. I mean, it doesn't seem like they can go back to him being a bounty hunter so much.
Yeah.
But they're setting up stuff with the Book of Boba Fett, again, with maybe the Marshal being over that land, that town. And maybe that'll interact with that, and that'll be kind of the Western kind of stuff, but it does seem like he's going to go, and it's going to be Mandalorian type things that are happening. Bo-Katan's going to be back. All those Mandalorian people will be there, and he's trying to become the Mandalorian again. And then, of course, Grogu's doing his thing.
Yeah, there is rumors that there is going to be a Bo-Katan show.
Eventually.
Really?
Because
everybody has a
that's
show.
Ming, I was Finnick.
Ming-Non?
Yeah,
Finnick.
Ming-Non.
Finnick.
She posted a tweet or something on Katie Sackhoff's Twitter saying, "Congratulations, you're getting your own show. It's amazing." And then she said, "Thanks. It's so excited, Bo-Katan, blah, blah, blah." And then it disappeared.
And then Disney was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Our big announcement was the Obi-Wan release date, not your show. Separate.
Yeah.
So I think
Our big
we're
surprise
gonna
at the end of Book of Boba Fett was going to be announcing your show, but instead we did the Marshal in the Bat-Katang. That's what the people want to see.
So I think they might have that show. Which it makes sense that they would do that if they're doing sort of like the MCU of version of Star Wars, where they have all these characters that have their own thing, and then they come together for the big Avengers moment type thing, which it looks like that's what they're doing. And then you have
That's
your
okay
options.
with a little bit of that. I don't know. If they do it gracefully, I feel like Boba Fett, they did not do it gracefully. It was very, ham-fisted with having the Boba show basically stop so they could do Mandalorian. So Mandalorian season 3, if Boba Fett shows up, fine, as long as it weaves nice, and same thing with Bo-Katan. I just hope it's not going to end up being like every season. It's like old Star Trek. Like every season of Star Trek, there was a Q episode. I don't want every season of Mando. There's the Boba Fett episode.
Well,
there's
they had
the
Ahsoka
episode.
Ahsoka episode, yeah.
It's okay, yeah. Just not every season. Just let it just happen naturally if you can. Not. I'm going back to Tatooine because my ship needs a tune-up. I'm like,
Well, the good thing is we probably, for the next Star Wars show, we won't see any of these characters. It'll be Obi-Wan
on Tatooine.
Now, my son was saying that the Wookiee.
Obi-Wan does fight
bar
him.
in his head.
Yeah, it's from Obi-Wan.
He got that.
So he'll be on.
It's from a comic book. They may bring him back.
He'll be on Obi-Wan.
But, I mean, they gotta do something, because if not, it's going to be a boring show. It's just going to be Obi-Wan sitting in the desert with binoculars looking at little Luke.
There will be
That's
Tusken
what I'm
Raiders.
saying. He's like, "Oh, and Peru, hello
He's
there."
gonna be hanging out at Mos Eisley, drinking and hitting on the ladies. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be funny if that was the whole show?
Yes.
You know, I was a general in the war.
Oh, sure you were, Ben.
Yes, I was.
If they had really put some thought to it,
I'm personal friends with Darth Vader. Yes. I trained him. So good. Give me another.
If Rey had ended up being his granddaughter, then maybe we would have seen, Obi-Wan hooking up with his, with his wife or something. Actually connect it in a good way instead of, do it.
Oh, that's not not canon anymore, right? Wink, wink.
People keep seeing posts, and I'm just like, guys, give it up, man.
Again, that's from Rebels. And that's why they're saying Ahsoka's in this, because in Rebels, there's basically this doorway to a parallel universe that she walks through, that she gets rescued from because she's battling Darth Vader, and it was basically Ahsoka's dead. This is it, and she gets pulled by Ezra. I think it was Ezra through this sort of alternate dimension door.
Yes, Ezra.
And so people are saying that Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, all this stuff happens in that other dimension. But it's not. It doesn't. Trust me. It's not. It doesn't. But that's the theory, that this is all going on in the other dimension. And the sequels don't happen in the same timeline. But it's not. It's not. That's just a random
I think we talked about that.
theory. Just a random theory. That's not what's happening. I'm going to put that out there right now.
So once Captain America returns all the Infinity Stones, then everything will go back to normal.
But if that's what was happening, I'd be okay with it.
So when do you think Grogu dies?
Oh, he's still alive.
Never.
But he's not in the other movies. There's no Jedi.
Well, he's not a Jedi. He turned his back on that. He chose.
Wow. Where was Ahsoka when they were trying to take down the Emperor?
Sith,
Well, she turned her back on that too. She turned her back on the Jedi way, and she went her own direction. And she's like, "I'm done with you guys," because that's what happens in the animated.
Very convenient that she just happens to show up once all the hard work's been done.
Well, she's
all
like,
the fighting's over.
She's like, finally, all the Jedis are gone and the Sith are gone. I can finally.
Let's see who's left. Oh, look, his son's still alive. That's cool.
Fan service,
Hit him up.
Yeah.
What do you think, Grogu?
Well, I mean, since Grogu could potentially live to be 900 years old, I mean, he's
probably still kicking it.
He's probably still kicking it. They could do another Star Wars something that's hundreds of years later, and he could be like,
Old Man Mando.
Let me tell you about my friend Mando.
Don't worry, Catherine. He won't be cute by then. He'll look like Yoda.
Good.
Star over his eye.
Have I ever told you about the time that I took a nap next to a Rancor? I was only 50 years old.
How many years old I was?
Did you hear
flipping around
him say his first word, basically?
What do you say?
When when Pilamoto lifts it up or climbs up there, she's like, well, "Hi there," or whatever, and you hear him go, "Hi." He says like, "Hi."
Wise guy.
So he's getting a little more verbal. So hopefully he'll be like talking soon. Hi. Hello.
I hope so.
Catron doesn't like cute things.
Well, see, then he's not going to be as cute because instead of him gently tapping, he'll be going, "Push the button, push the button, push the button."
Are we there yet?
We're going to get teenage Grogu soon.
Teenage Groot.
Yep.
Just be playing a video game in the back.
Oh,
flying.
So speaking of video games, the thing that the Dormu guy or whatever his name is was writing on, the little tablet thing. Do you know what that was? That was an old bowling video game.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
The ice cream maker made another appearance. That was the bomb.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Old bowling game.
And Captain Rex, I think I mentioned this before the show started. Captain Rex from Star Tours, who has the best agent in Star Wars, who appears in practically every episode. He's in the cantina or he's in the casino. He's at the at the airport. He's doing the luggage thing. It's like he's everywhere.
Well, that's just a model of droid. I mean, that's
no, it's Captain Rex.
no, it's different ones.
What do y'all think it is about cinnamon that's so important to these people? I'm pretty sure that's what came out of that box. That
love their
spice or whatever.
Yeah. They're cocaine.
Love cinnamon rolls.
I mean, is it hard to get cinnamon?
Yes.
In that time,
yeah, I mean cinnamon is. I mean, it's a galaxy
air
far,
and water.
far away.
It's like cocaine to them. You know, it's very addictive.
Put it in their coffee.
Yeah. You can't eat too much of it though.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, you just can't. It's...
Yeah, you can't. You can't take a whole spoonful.
Or whatever. You need to really put it on something.
Yeah.
It is weird. It is funny. I mean, not funny or weird. You don't mind spice like on Tatooine.
It's just a place that's.
It's from Kessel.
Spice Mines of Kessel.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Tatooine is like its distribution place.
Well, I mean, it goes back to it being a hub of transportation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's everything lands there and goes somewhere else. It's a transfer, so it's that. I mean, that's got to be it. Why everybody lands there? It's just a central location, I guess. Maybe we need a map. We need a Star Wars map. It's it's probably where because he doesn't want them to go through there anymore because it's causing issues.
Right.
But it's probably the easiest way to get to other places. So.
Chris.
But again, is it like a drug? Is it illegal?
It is a drug.
Because,
it's like
because he's like, okay, fine. Boba Fett's like, fine, we won't do any more spice. She's like, but there's a lot of money in that.
Yeah, it's like cocaine.
I'm like, basically. Oh, that's right. You're the criminal family. That's nice. But you're still criminals dealing in drugs. But
how do you make money again?
Are you good or
sure
you're bad? Because usually if you're dealing in
Boba
drugs,
has all the money he can, he ever wants.
You're not the kind-hearted. You're not the kind-hearted Godfather dealing in drugs. Yes, we do a little bit of human trafficking, but hey, I care about the people. Okay.
We're collecting organs and selling them, sure.
Yeah.
But
it sounds bad when you say it.
Well, I think we've been way over our time tonight.
Really?
Yeah. Outstayed our welcome.
Yeah, we'll turn this into 3 episodes. We won't.
Or Boba a new one, I guess.
But Ray, thanks for coming on and
thanks, man. Anytime.
And hating on Book of Boba Fett.
I didn't want to. That's the thing that was so frustrating for me each and every time. I was like, all right, episode 1 wasn't great. Episode 2 is going to be better. It's not getting better. It's not getting better. Okay, the train, that's getting better. Episode 4, we're back to not better. We're not, what's happening? Oh, Mandalorian's here for no reason. Okay, cool.
Well, I'll end. I liked it. I enjoyed it as a Star Wars fan. I enjoyed seeing all the cool Star Wars stuff in it, all the things. Wasn't my favorite, but I enjoyed it. I think we know Ray's opinion on it. Chris is sort of in the same boat between Katrin. Yeah. Are you more my side or their side?
I had my problems with it for most of it, but I mean, I'm glad I watched it. I guess
I'm glad I watched it.
It had some really cool things that happened. So, just not my favorite. That's not something I go and tell people. You got to watch this season. Maybe go watch this particular episode. That's about it. And the last one was fine. I guess I don't. But it was okay. But at least it's something, right? That we get to watch.
Yeah,
and
we could have nothing.
Next thing,
right? We could have nothing.
Come to our side.
Yes. We could have Murderville. I don't know.
Murderville's great.
Oh wait, it's good. So.
I enjoy it. Just remember, a few years ago, we didn't have any Star Wars, and now we got a lot of Star Wars. So I'm looking forward to Boba Fett. I mean, I'm looking forward to.
I'm not sure that's a great argument.
I like it. I enjoy it. I got to see all kinds of cool stuff, and I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan. And I'm looking forward to Andor.
I am looking forward to Andor.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Bad Batch season 2.
Season 1 was good.
I'm looking forward to what else?
Mandalorian.
So Vance says the comments 3 out of 5 blue milks.
What about green milks? How many green milks?
I think
Kiri had a 5 Bantha turd.
If it was, I think if it was the last half, if the season was the last half, just the last half of the season was the whole season, I think everybody would have loved it. If it was just called Boba Fett 2.5 or whatever.
Well, basically, or Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Basically, if they had just continued Mandalorian and had maybe 2 Boba Fett episodes or something, then it would have been a different show, you know.
So maybe it was just the title. The title is what messed it up.
It's just funny that you said, if it had just been 3 Mandalorians and 2 Boba Fetts, it would have been better. If it was just 5 Mandalorians and a half of a Boba Fett, it would have been better. We would have all been happy. Wouldn't you have been happy?
All Mandalorian.
And if Boba Fett flew by,
loved it.
It would have been great.
All right, let's wrap it. I'm glad I watched it. I've watched most of the episodes twice, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I watched most of the season. I was on a live stream with the Dano channel, which they're fun. If you want to watch Dano, the Dano channel, let's look up Dano. So I was on a live stream with a bunch of Star Wars people, so it was fun watching it with them and everybody going, "Oh, look, it's that thing! Oh no, there's that's going on." So we were talking through the whole thing and having fun doing it. So I think that made it a lot better because there was a bunch of Star Wars fans watching it together, talking about the things that we were seeing, getting excited about it. So I may have thought different if I just watched it by myself. I don't know. You never know.
Probably.
Anyways, so this has been episode 225 of I'm Geek. I am Star Wars edition, Book of Boba Fett roundtable. Next week, I don't know, we'll be moving on to our next I Am subject. I don't know if we'll go back to Marvel or we'll just go on to I Am Legend. We'll see. We'll see what happens next week, but thanks for joining us. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, to hit that little thumbs up, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, all that stuff. If you're on Apple, if you're listening on Apple iTunes, if you could give us 5 stars, that would be wonderful. And give us a review saying how much you love us, because we love you guys. And thanks for listening and watching. And we'll catch you next week on I Am Geek.
Wow.